Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. Enjoy the slow-mo of our rainbow fire from when we went camping. This is the subject of this page, so I figured I'd include this little video clip. Today's a super exciting hop. You'll see here in a minute a beautiful layout from Rebecca, who is Precious Pages Papercraft, and I adore this layout. It is so perfect and beautiful, and as soon as I saw it I was like, I have to scrapbook that. We are celebrating Rebecca reaching past 500 subscribers on YouTube. That's a really exciting benchmark. So there's a hop going on today. We're all going to be scrap lifting her, and I had to choose this layout. You guys know I love P13. I've only got to work with it once. I got a kit from Redefine Creative, the Secret Kit Club last year, which was a combo of Soulmate and New Moon, and I absolutely adored working with it. Rebecca's got this really gorgeous, more nautical themed one, but I loved everything she did with it. Was just perfect. So I wanted to copy it as exact as possible because it was just beautiful. In honor of her using P13, I went and I pulled out my scraps from when I used this for How to Kill a Kit with Style. You guys know I do not have a whole lot of this left, but I really wanted to use P13 since she's using a lot of P13 currently, and I just think it's so beautiful. And this is like her aesthetic. I love what she does. Everything's always beautiful and light, has lots of texture. I love the layers she puts in everything, and this is the style I really strive for when I use products like this. So she's definitely someone I'm going to turn to whenever I have P13, because this is just the perfect aesthetic that I go for when I have those types of products. But like I said, I don't have a whole lot of P13, so I did pull in my whole stack of Prima Marketing products, which has a similar aesthetic. It's kind of vintagey, mixed media-y, and kind of light and airy. So that's what I'm going for. I'm going to go ahead and do the same kind of, use a 12 by 12 as a mat, and then have, I think as she just said, 10 and a half square layer as her main portion. And then she really went down to stressing the edges, and I love the texture that adds, so I'm going to try and do the same thing. I'm just using my Tim Holtz Distress tool to really chew up the edges and give it a lot of texture. She used white cardstock, which is beautiful. You guys know I'm kind of scared of white cardstock because I just have issues with making it look like a completed project by the end. But she is like the queen of using white cardstock and making the pages look so beautiful and airy and having lots of little details and textures. I do have this matte print, which is kind of a white paper, so I decided to use that as my main portion. But this is kind of going to be my frame. I did trim this photo into a 4x4. It was a horizontal 4x6. Rebecca used, I don't quite know what size her photo was, but it was a vertical photo. So I did just trim mine into a square so it could be more similarly proportioned to what she did. And then I'm just going to throw a couple layers on here. I have a white cardstock layer and then two scraps. She has torn details at the bottom of these mats, so I'm going to tear mine as well, which you'll see here in a minute, but I'm just stressing the edges of everything. I love the texture that adds, and she did the same thing on hers. So I'm just going to get my mats down really quick before I start branching out, but really distressing all the edges, tearing that bottom portion, and I just love the subtle detail that adds to the final product. So there we go. Now I'm going through a bunch of my other scraps. I'm going to go through my P13 first because that's really what I'm wanting to use on this page. She also had these P13 kind of larger banners, and she did something very similar with hers. So I'm kind of doing the same thing with having one banner going in either direction on the corners of my photo. I am kind of doing the mirror image of her layout because I'm facing to the left in the photo. So I wanted my photo on the right side of the page, so I'm looking into the photo instead of off the page. So that's the only thing I did kind of tweak. I'm just kind of taking the mirror image of her design, but everything else I'm trying to keep pretty similar. I'm just going through a couple things I already had fussy cut from this collection, a couple of the other tags and die cuts from this collection. This was the last night camping. We did that rainbow fire and kind of sat out for a long time on the fire because we knew we were going back the next day, so we wanted to spend as much time out here as possible. So I wanted to record this, but since it's camping, I felt like this P13 kind of outdoorsy. There's constellations, there's feathers, there's bugs in this collection. I thought that was perfect. Again, this is kind of the remnants of Soulmate and New Moon. So I just think that's perfect. There's a compass die cut, which again I thought was perfect since we're camping. I'm getting this bug fussy cut detail on here, and I fussy cut a couple more bugs because I think those bugs in the collection are so cool. Like, I'm not a bug person, and when I first saw them in that collection, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that or not. But when I used it, I like loved the bugs. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and get as many as I can on this layout, because this is actually a literal page where bugs would make sense because we're outside. I did have a couple fussy cut feathers from, I think that was the Soulmate collection, so I'm tucking a few of them in by that beetle, that bug. Going through some other bits and pieces. I had some fussy cut larger feathers from a Prima Marketing collection, so I figured, oh, we're using feathers from P13. Might as well add a couple more of these feathers in here too. So you can see a couple bigger feathers to the right there. I'm just trying to beef out my clusters and make it super layering. I love what Rebecca did. She had some fussy cut florals. She had a couple other bits and pieces she fussy cut from some of the P13 papers. I didn't have a whole lot of fussy cuttable things available because I only had scraps of this collection. But I really tried to use everything at my disposal to get a similar look. Hers definitely looks more light and airy and prettier, but I love working with P13, so I'm so happy right now working with all of this stuff. And then she also has a little cluster on the opposite corner of the page, so I'm definitely going to want to do that as well. I don't know if I've worked down there yet. But I'm trying to keep that in the back of my mind too, is that I want something in the opposite corner. But there's another little bug I fussy cut. I'm pretty happy with how that corner is looking, so I'm going to go ahead and glue some of it down. And then she has some beautiful mixed media she did in the background of her layers, so I'm going to try and do mixed media too. It looks crazy at first, but I cover most of it up, so it doesn't look so crazy by the end. But just forewarning, I did attempt to mix media on this layout. Rebecca makes it look so easy when she does mixed media, and mine was just like, I don't know, you'll see in a minute. But I'm pretty happy with how my clusters are coming along. I'm fussy cutting another bug here because I saw another bug in the collection. I'm like, we're getting all the bugs on this page today, so I'm just fussy cutting a separate one. Those two, the one I'm fussy cutting now, the blue beetle, are from some stickers, but they're rectangular stickers, and I would have just preferred a more fussy cut bug, so that's all I'm doing now is just cutting that out from that rectangular sticker, and I think that looks really cute. There's a heart tag from, I think that's also Soulmate. I want to try and get used up, but I'm not sure where yet. So I'm just going through all of the bits and pieces. There's a sticker sheet, I think that was from New Moon, that I end up pulling a few stickers on. But before I stick everything down, because I was about to glue my layers down, I was like, wait, you have to do mixed media. I decided to take all the layers off and get the mixed media done first. So I'm just using some blue acrylic paint. I'm mixing in some black, and then it was too black, so I added some white, and then it was too gray, so I added more blue. And eventually I get this navy blue, which is pretty close to the blue that is in New Moon. And I'm just going to use the packaging technique. I try to just make it a little watery by spraying some water on it, and then you'll just see I do the packaging technique. And it looks crazy right now because it's so much. But like I said, I cover most of this up. So the parts that you can see actually look pretty nice. But it looks like I just destroyed my page just then. But yeah, you'll see, I'll go ahead and put the photo back over the area, and it's not enough. So then I went back and I added a little bit more. But that's always such a fun technique. I love the packaging technique, and I feel like you can't go wrong. It just looks a little scary at first when you're doing this dark color over a light paper. But I'm actually pretty pleased with how it ended up turning out after I put, my layers back over the top. And then because it is so dark though, before I put this other stuff back on, I wanted to pull in my Nuvo embellishment mousse. Christina sent me this with the P13 product, so I thought it'd be a really nice nod to use it with this collection once again, because I used that product a lot when I used this collection the first time around. So I'm just mixing some of that paste with some more water to make it more of a mist consistency, and then I just splattered that around the page, which gives a really nice soft shimmer and kind of lightens up that dark blue a little bit. So now that I'm waiting for that to dry, I think It looks crazy right now, but just wait till I glue these bits down. It makes a little bit more sense. But I love that. And she did blue mixed media on her layout too, so I thought that was another nod to her page, even though mine turned out way messier. But yeah, so after the layers are down, it looks better. So there's that. I think I'm going to start working in the lower left corner at some point. You can see I did a little bit mixed media down there just because I knew there would be something there at some point. And I'm thinking I'll use this heart tag down here and my remaining feather from the Soulmate collection. So I'm just trying to figure out a little cluster to do down there. I'm going through some more scraps just to see what else I can do. The first paper layer behind my photo is this kind of tan, and I had a scrap of that, so I wanted to pull that into a separate area of the page just so that color was somewhere else, because that's the only color that's standing out as something that's not really represented anywhere else on the page. So you'll see me use a scrap of that at some point. I did want to pull in a couple stickers though from the sticker sheet, so you'll see here in a minute I'll go through that new moon sticker sheet. But I like how it's looking with the feather and another one of these tags. I'm really trying to use as much P13 as possible because there's not a whole lot left, and since I am using it, I want to take the opportunity to really try and get a lot of it on here. But here's my sticker sheet. I just decided to pull in a couple stickers. I pulled in a blue one that says "Let's sleep under the stars" because we literally were camping, and I feel like that's the most perfect thing to use. I put another one next to one of my clusters that says "Tonight," and then I did pull one in that says "Night Sky" over on my other cluster, just so I kind of had a visual triangle with my little word stickers. But I think all of those look super cute. And now I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to stick these down. You can see the circle is overhanging the edge, and I really don't like that. So once I kind of figure out how I'm going to have things layered, I do end up trimming that circle so it's flush to the edge. That's the same thing Rebecca did with her cluster down there. I loved how that looked. It's all kind of contained within this 10 by 10.5 by 10.5 square instead of running onto the frame. So I really, really like that. And then I was just thinking I wanted a little bit more in one of these clusters, just beef it up a little bit. And one of my favorite things to do with P13 is to add a doily and a glassine bag behind some of my layers. It just really helps emphasize the embellishment cluster, and it really helps add some more layers and texture. So I couldn't help myself. I had to add in that little detail there. That cluster was looking a little plain, so that really helped beef it up a little bit. And then since I kind of had more room to work with, once I added that glassine bag, I just went through one of my Prima marketing collections and pulled out a couple die cuts just for layering. They really don't add anything meaning-wise, but I really like just the addition of them tucked in there. Just adds another layered detail. So got those down. Trying to figure out what I do next. Oh my gosh, you guys, I forgot about this. I pull in Wolfpack because I was looking at this collection. I was like, man, we're pulling in scraps. We're pulling in older collections. I was like, Wolfpack would go with this because last time I really scrapbooked camping, I was using Heidi Swap's Wolfpack, and I couldn't help myself. So I had fun with that as well, pulling in some Wolfpack with my P13. Before I do that, though, I'm going to go ahead and get my title down. I have these really cute, tiny navy foam alphas, and I thought that was perfect. So I'm just going to branch them off from my tiny cluster, kind of leading into my photo cluster, just so it kind of connects everything. Sometimes I don't like doing that. I like my kind of clusters and areas of design to be separate, but in this case, I really liked how it kind of connected everything, and that's something similar to what Rebecca did on her layout. Her title kind of branches out from her photo into the embellishment cluster. So I'm also trying to kind of do a nod to her on this. I'm just going to call it Rainbow Fire Pit because I actually had the letters to spell that out, and that's what this page is about. She also alternated some Manuvo drops in 2 different colors to do some accents, and I thought that was so fun. That's not something I've ever done before, so I really wanted to try that too. But before I got there, here's Wolfpack and I couldn't help myself. I had to pull in. I had a bunch of like feather puffy stickers that were in my color scheme, so I used the rest of them up. And then there is this little acetate unplug that I thought was perfect, so I went ahead and added that to underneath my title, just as another little detail. But I was so happy I got a little bit of Wolfpack on here. It's not super obvious, but I love Wolfpack. There's not a whole lot of that left, so it's hard for me to use it. So anywhere I can sneak a little bit of it on, I'm really, really happy. So got the feathers used up, got that unplug on here. I'm just using, I think, my Nuvo glue to glue that down. And now I'm going in with my Nuvo drops and just doing the same kind of technique that Rebecca did, which I think is such a cool thing. She's just kind of alternating her Nuvo drops. And I will link her original layout that I am scrap lifting. I'll link the process video for that if you want to see her do it. But there's everyone else playing along scrap lifting her any layout they want. They're not all going to be this layout. So make sure you check her out. She's awesome. Make sure you check out everyone else playing along. Congratulations on passing 500 subscribers. I know you will get many, many more because you're very, very talented. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.